Hello all, I am Dr. Vibhash Kumar Vaid. Today I will talk about the osteology of scapula. The scapula is a flat type of bone, and this bone is also considered as a bone of three because it has three angles, three processes and three surfaces. That's why scapula considered as a bone of three. Scapula situated on the posterolateral aspect of the thoracic cage. It is present in paired. So how will identify the side of the scapula? So whenever you go for the side examination, you always remember this smooth or slightly concave surface. This surface is called costal surface. This costal surface faces forward. Then spine containing surface, this surface is called dorsal surface. This dorsal surface faces backward. Then you can see here a pear-shaped cavity. This cavity is called glenoid cavity. This cavity directed slightly forward and laterally, and this narrow angle, this angle is called inferior angle. Inferior angle situated below, and this thick border is considered as a lateral border, and this thin border considered as a medial border. So for this point you easily identify the side of the scapula. So this scapula is a right-sided scapula. Now we'll talk about the features of the scapula. Scapula has two surfaces. One is anterior surface and one is posterior surface. Anterior surface is also called as costal surface because this surface is related to the chest bone, and this surface also known as subscapular fossa, and it is slightly concave and directed medially and forward. Then you can see here this one is called posterior surface or also called as dorsal surface. This dorsal surface give attachment to the spine of the scapula. Here you can see this is the spine of the scapula. This spine of the scapula which divide the dorsal surface into two parts, superior and inferior part. This superior part is called supraspinous fossa, and this large inferior part is called infraspinous fossa. The two fossas are connected by the sphenoglenoid notch. You can appreciate here these two, supraspinous fossa and infraspinous fossa. These two are connected by each other by this sphenoglenoid notch, and this sphenoglenoid notch is situated lateral to the root of the spine. Then we'll talk about the borders of the scapula. So scapula has three borders. One is superior border. This superior border is thin and short, and the nearer to the root of the coracoid process, this one is called coracoid process. Nearer to the root of the coracoid process, here this superior border has a notch. This notch is called the suprascapular notch. Then the lateral border, here we have a lateral border. The lateral border of the scapula is thick, and the upper part of the lateral border, here elevated bony portion is present. This bony elevated portion is called infraglenoid tubercle. Then you can see here this one is called medial border. The medial border which is start from the superior angle to the inferior angle. We'll talk about the angles of the scapula. So scapula has three angles. One is superior angle, then inferior angle and lateral angle. Lateral angle is also called as glenoid angle, and this angle is broad and bears the glenoid cavity or fossa. You can see here this is called glenoid cavity or fossa, which is directed forward, laterally and slightly outward. Then we'll talk about the process of the scapula. So scapula has three processes. First is on the dorsal surface. This process is called spinous process. Spinous process is triangular plate of the bone which three borders and two surfaces, and it divides the dorsal surface of the scapula into two parts. Upper part is called supraspinous fossa and this large lower part is called infraspinous fossa. Its posterior border of the spine, the posterior border of the spine is called the crest of the spine, and this crest has two lips. You can see here, this is called the upper lip of the crest of the spine and this one is called lower lip of the crest of the spine. Then the acromion process. You can see this is called acromion process. The acromion process is a continuation of the spinous process, and the acromion process also has a two border and two surfaces. This border is called lateral border. This border is called the medial border of the acromion process, and this surface is called the superior surface of the acromion process, and here we have an inferior surface of the acromion process. Then along with this, the acromion process has a fissure. This fissure which articulate with the fissure of the clavicle and form the acromioclavicular joint. Then you can see here another process. This process is called coracoid process. Coracoid is a Greek word that means is crow's beak. So this process is directed forward and slightly laterally, and it is bent and finger like, and it is a type of atavistic epiphysis. Now we'll talk about the attachments of the scapula. So first we'll talk about the attachment over the anterior aspect. So you can see here the multipinnate subscapularis arise from the medial 2/3 of the subscapularis fossa. Here we have a subscapularis fossa, and this portion which provide the origin of the subscapularis muscle. Then the supraspinatus arises from the medial 2/3 of the supraspinous fossa, including the upper surface of the spine. From this portion we have a origin of the supraspinatus muscle. Then the infraspinatus arises from the medial 2/3 of the infraspinous fossa, including the lower surface of the spine. Here we have a lower surface of the spine, this portion, and this portion is called the superior surface of the spine. So this structure of the scapula, supraspinous fossa, including the upper surface of the spine, which provide the origin of the supraspinatus muscle, and the medial 2/3 of the infraspinatus fossa and inferior surface of the spine, which provide attachment of the infraspinatus fossa or infraspinatus muscle. Then the deltoid muscle arises from the lower border of the crust and the spine, and from the lateral border of the acromion process. So this area which covered the origin of the deltoid muscle, which takes origin from the lower border of the crust of the spine and the lateral border of the acromion process. Here we have attachment of deltoid muscle. Then the trapezius muscle is inserted over the medial border of the acromion process and the upper border of the crust of the spine. This area which provide insertion of the trapezius muscle. The serratus anterior is inserted along with the medial border of the costal surface on the one digitation from the superior angle. This from here we have a insertion of the one digitation, and the root of the spine, from here we have a insertion of the two digitation and the 5 digitation over the inferior angle. Then the long head of the tricep which arises from the supraglenoid tubercle. So this is called glenoid cavity. Above the glenoid cavity, here you can see a bony elevation. This elevation is called supraglenoid tubercle. So over this supraglenoid tubercle, we have a origin of the long head of the biceps brachii muscle. Then the short head of the biceps brachii muscle, which takes origin from the tip of the coracoid process. From this portion, we have a origin of the short head of the biceps brachii. So long head over the supraglenoid tubercle and short head over the tip of the coracoid process. Then the coracobrachialis muscle arises from the medial part of the coracoid process, and from this portion we have a origin of the coracobrachialis muscle. And the pectoralis minor, which is insert over the medial border of the superior surface of the coracoid process. From here we have an insertion of the pectoralis minor muscle. Then the long head of the tricep muscle, which takes origin from the infraglenoid tubercle. Below this glenoid cavity, we have another bony elevation. This is called infraglenoid tubercle. Over this portion, we have a origin of the long head of the tricep brachii muscle. Then teres minor arises from the two slips. Teres minor, which arises via two slips from the upper third of the rough strip on the dorsal surface along the lateral border. From here, we have a origin of the teres minor muscles. And teres major muscle, which arises from the lower 1/3 of the dorsal surface of the lateral border. So upper 2/3 of the dorsal surface of the lateral border, we have a origin of the teres minor, and lower 1/3 of the dorsal surface of the lateral border, we have a origin of the teres major. Dorsal surface or superior angle, this portion which provide the insertion of the levator scapulae muscles on the dorsal surface or medial border opposite to the root of the spine, this portion which provide insertion of the rhomboid minor muscles, and on the dorsal surface in between the root of the spine or inferior angle, this portion which provide insertion of the rhomboid major muscle. Then the inferior valley of the omohyoid, which is arise from the upper border near to the scapular notch. So this portion which provide origin of the inferior valley of the omohyoid muscle, which is arise from the upper border nearer to the suprascapular notch. Here we have a suprascapular notch, and this portion provide origin of the inferior valley of omohyoid. Then the margin of the glenoid cavity, from here we have a attachment of the capsular ligament of the shoulder joint. Margin of the glenoid cavity provide attachment of the capsular ligament of the shoulder joint. Then the margin of the facet of the medial aspect of the acromion process give attachment to the capsule of the acromioclavicular joint. So this portion which provide attachment of the capsules of the acromioclavicular joint. The coracoacromial ligament is attached to the lateral border of the coracoid process to the medial side of the tip of the acromion process. So this, from here we have attachment of the coracoacromial ligament. Then the coracohumeral ligament is attached to the root of the coracoid process. From here we have attachment of the coracohumeral ligament. Then the coracoclavicular ligament is attached to the coracoid process to the trapezoid part of the superior aspect of the conoid part nearer to the root. Then the transverse ligament bridge across the suprascapular notch, and this suprascapular notch convert into suprascapular foramen. Then the sphenoglenoid ligament may bridge the sphenoglenoid notch and the suprascapular vessels, and nerve passes deep to it. Paralysis of the serratus anterior causes the winning of the scapula. The medial border of the bone become unduly prominent and the arm cannot be abducted beyond the 90 degree. This is all about the osteology of scapula. I hope you all are understood the topic. Thank you.